Hi there, how was your day? So Splatoon 3 is right around the corner now, and that's put me in the splatting mood. To prepare for this new entry in the series, I've been playing a lot of Splatoon. Like, a lot of Splatoon. And while on the Splatoon binge, I've realised that Splatoon isn't just a good shooter, but the best shooter. Whether it's through the amazingly developed world, creative gameplay, or some of the best modern Nintendo music by far, this game never fails to be a fun time. So please, do me the honour of joining me as we dive into how and why Splatoon is the best modern shooter. The base premise of Splatoon is that all humans went extinct. What a joyful way to start off the discussion about this game. But a long while after that, various sea creatures evolved to take on a more human form, giving rise to the many sea-based creatures we see throughout the games. These creatures didn't just evolve to look like people though, because they also act like people. They have their own music, their own cities, and most importantly, their own sports. This is a really fun premise, but it's sadly nothing much more than that. This is more of a launching off point than the main storyline of the game. And if I'm being honest, I really don't like any of the single player campaigns on offer. In my opinion, Splatoon is at its best when it's an online multiplayer, with its single player offerings being just really boring. These are more of a fun distraction from time to time for me. I just don't enjoy them nearly as much as the online portion of the game. But even with that, I'd still say that the premise alone is interesting enough to put this over most other shooters currently on the market. Splatoon doesn't opt for some dark, gritty warfield setting, but instead gets creative. There's no samey alien invasion or disaster caused by the ignorance of the human race resulting in war. Hell, the human race is more of a footnote in Splatoon. Overall, I'd say that the games have a great premise but a collection of subpar campaigns. 6 out of 10. The world of Splatoon is one of the best in modern gaming right now. In-game brands and businesses, in-game celebrities, even the music that plays throughout the game have credited in-game bands behind them. And some of these characters are just great. The various newscasters we meet throughout the series all have fully formed personalities and relationships, making them feel much more real and also making it maybe a bit too easy for people online to get overly attached. And the business owners you encounter all have their own thing going on as well. My favourite easily being Jeffonzo because oh my god, just look at him. He's so fancy and proper like the respectable little man he is. Where's my Jeffonzo amiibo, Nintendo? You're telling me that Steve gets one and he doesn't? All of this attention to detail lays hand in creating a truly immersive and real-feeling world, but I do feel like it goes too far sometimes. And before you ask me how world building can possibly go too far, it's not the world building that I have a problem with, but rather the way it's done. There are so many little things sprinkled throughout that you can tell were put there to make for a more immersive experience that just end up falling flat and end up doing the opposite. For example, in Splatoon 2, one of the main advertising points was the new game mode Salmon Run. In this game mode, you're employed by Grisco Industries to collect eggs for this creepy bear thing that I always imagined sounded like Seth Rogen for some reason. Is this some kind of twisted circle of life? And when the game came out, fans immediately fell in love with this game mode and immediately hailed it as one of the greatest new additions. So far so good, right? Well, what if I told you that to make this whole thing more immersive, this game mode is only available at certain times of day? This is what I mean when I say it can go too far. It's never anything too major, but it's just for little annoyances, like entire game modes being locked to certain times of day, that just feel like too much. But when compared to the world of other shooter games, this one is definitely much better, as instead of a world war or overly copy-pasted feeling sci-fi stuff, this series actually comes up with something different to make for a unique and vast feeling world. 8 out of 10. This is where I feel Splatoon knocks it out of the park, as the gameplay on offer here is some of modern day Nintendo's finest. Let's start off with the basic mechanics. In Splatoon, the main goal isn't to eliminate your enemies, but rather to cover as much turf in your coloured ink as possible. And right off the bat, this is an amazing concept that lays the way for so many cool possibilities. The way in which the maps are designed to accommodate for this are obvious, with big open spaces to really go ham on, and this also allows for some really great colour theory. What are we with an IE? The only game channel that will complement a game based on colour theory. By the way, you should probably subscribe, maybe click the bell icon too. And while you're at it, you might as well like the video as well. You've made it this far, so clearly I've done something right. All joking aside, however, I absolutely love the way a fully splattered over map looks, especially when the two different colours are clashing together. Just something about it is so satisfying, and like I said, all the bright colours really help to make this all look so good. But you don't just use the ink to please your eyes and cover turf, you also use it as a mode of transportation. The squid kids and octolinks you play as all have squid and octopus forms that allow them to flow through the ink like butter. And again, this is so satisfying to do, just the way it controls so smoothly and gliding over big areas of ink just feels so good. This can also be used to scale walls, just splat a path up a wall and boom! Who needs ladders anyway? On top of all this, you also have like a million weapons to choose from and variations of those weapons, leading to your arsenal feeling truly vast, especially when each weapon comes with a secondary and special move. Most of the secondary moves are nothing special, it's pretty much just all different versions of the same ink bombs, but the special moves are really the important thing here, because in Splatoon you have a choice between a bunch of special moves, and oh my god are these ever amazing feeling. Every time you rack up enough points to use one of these, you really do feel powerful. Using these moves you get to splat up huge portions of the map in a fashionable style. I am a squid using a jetpack. So many games would have a powerful move like this, just be an ultra powerful damage boosting attack of fury, but not in Splatoon. Splatoon is too funky for that. And you might think that I'm done with gameplay now, but nope! This franchise is the gift that keeps on giving, because in Splatoon, there are so many game modes to choose from. Story mode, turf war, league battles, ranked battles, salmon run, and if you somehow get tired of all of that, even though all you really need is turf war, then you have the Octo expansion. But that's DLC, so I don't care, 9 out of 10. Okay, so I know the common thought is that Nintendo can't do graphics, but I just don't get that. Sure, it's not on the same level as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but it also won't cost you an actual down payment on a house to access the hardware. The visuals here are great, the animations, the shine on the ink, the textures, the designs, all of it is superb here. And from the looks of things, in Splatoon 3, it's only gonna get better. I mean, look at these animations. The visuals here do an amazing job of bringing the world to life. 8 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Okay fine, the music in this game is just amazing. I mentioned earlier that there are many in-game bands that are credited with making the songs featured in the games, and the fact that that's just a cherry on top should really be telling on how good the music here is. Each track does an amazing job at getting you pumped whilst also being some of the best Nintendo music from the last decade. This is an easy 10 out of 10 for me, which some might think is too much, but overall, this is a game with phenomenal gameplay and amazing premise that gave us a truly immersive world that even has great visuals and music to boot. It's not perfect, but in my opinion it's easily the best shooter currently on the market. At least Splatoon 2 is, the first game is dead and the third one could toss it all up. Let's find out what the overall score is. 8.2 out of 10. I did the math, trust me on that. Well, I've been Robbie with an IE, you've been amazing, and I'll catch you next time. Have a lovely day.